Welcome back to the Pig Trail Show. It is time for our Hog Hoops report with Kevin McPherson. A lot of exciting things to talk about. Let's just start with your overall thoughts on Arkansas' 72-70 win over Oral Roberts.
First phrase that comes to mind is survive and advance. And the Arkansas had to do that. We saw Oral Roberts, what that team was able to do in December, led Arkansas at 10 at halftime, had a 12-point lead both in the first half and second half. And Arkansas really had to get on the glass. It was a dominant rebounding performance the first time around. Arkansas was -1 on the boards in this game, trailed by 7 at halftime. And then we saw the familiar 12-point second half deficit against Oral Roberts, a team that upset its way into the Sweet 16 to begin with, knocking off the 2-seed Ohio State, 7-seed Florida. This is not an easy team to put down when you have 2-star players like Oral Roberts does. And then you had a couple other guys in supporting roles that once Arkansas really tried to close off those first two guys, you saw a couple other guys step up. And that's what good teams do. And Arkansas had to respond in kind. It was a team effort. Jalen Tate with a big offensive game, taking advantage of his size in a matchup. And he just continued to be effective down the stretch, giving Arkansas leads every time he scored around the basket. Davonte Davis becoming that, I call him, put you in the Devo dungeon. It's his defense, on-ball defense. But when you're guarding the nation's leading scorer, you've got a chore on one end, and then he was, relied upon to come up with some offense on the other. Moses Moody struggled shooting the ball, Tara, but he still had 10 second-half points. He finished with 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. Justin Smith, another double-double. His second in the NCAA tournament, second that he's had against Oral Roberts. And I just thought it was a team effort. Arkansas had to claw its way back in this game. It's hard to stop a team that shoots as many threes and as effective as Oral Roberts is. But Arkansas did just enough there, I think, defensively. And then I think, again, getting on the offensive glass and winning second chance points by a double-digit margin, offensive rebounds by a double-digit margin. To me, that was the difference in that game, as Arkansas now punches its ticket to the Elite Eight for the first time in 26 years. The last time that happened were the 94-95 Hogs that ended up going all the way to the title game, lost to UCLA, national runner-up the season after winning it all in 93-94.
And Kevin, everyone's talking about Devo Davis right now and his game-winning shot against Oral Roberts. He's a guy that you've covered for quite a while now. What kind of progression have you seen from him this season?
Well, he's always been a player that's played with a lot of confidence. And he's a guy, when I covered him in high school, consistently got triple doubles. You hear about players get double doubles. He got a lot of triple doubles, but he was always on the ball, a primary handler, and everything ran through him. And I think he really had to adjust coming into this season to being a guy that played, more of off the ball with Jalen Tate running the one, and he's been able to embrace that. It was a work in progress. But I think the other thing is I always wrote about him in high school as being someone that had the physical tools and his instincts and his high basketball IQ to be an elite defender. But he was hit and miss in high school. A lot of times at that level, players are thinking more offense. And he made big plays defensively in high school, but he wasn't consistent. I think Eric Musselman and this staff have done a great job getting him to buy in on that end of the floor. And we see what he does. He's so disruptive. And when he forces a turnover, it's usually a live ball turnover, and something good happens on the other end for Arkansas. And we see it. I mean, he had 8 rebounds yesterday. He does a little bit of everything. I think the other big surprise is he's consistently finding his spots and knocking down mid-range jumpers. The game winner yesterday was a nice play. Jalen Tate ran down the game and shot clock, got into the paint. Devo closed a little bit closer to the basket from the wing. He got a pass, used a little head and shoulders fake to freeze the defender, took one dribble left and rose up with confidence. This is a player, to me, that's going to be the kind of guy that's going to have a chance to play at the next level someday. Arkansas fans hoped later rather than sooner, but definitely an all-league kind of player. I was shocked that he didn't make the SEC's all-freshman team. I had him on the team that I did for Pig Trail Nation in Hogville. But Devo Davis right now is one of the stars of the NCAA tournament. But there's a lot of credit to go around the coaching staff and his teammates, because the way that Eric Musselman does this, he's making in-game adjustments, but other guys are stepping up too. Justin Smith, huge second half on the glass. We saw Jalen Tate offensively. And again, I mentioned Moses Moody before, but let's talk about Desi Seals. He's been almost I won't say a forgotten man. He plays every game, but he had a big role in this game, played nearly 30 minutes, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, had a basket, a couple of steals. Overall team effort, Tara, and that's how you get to the Elite Eight.
Well, they're going to need that overall team effort against Baylor. Definitely going to be a challenge. What do you think about this matchup with the Bears?
a tough matchup. Another volume 3-point shooting team, top 5 scores. Their percentage from 3-point range anywhere from 39.5% to 45%. It's the best 3-point shooting team in the country. You look at it from percentage. When you look at it, their 10 makes a game, that's right around the top 10. And Arkansas's faced these kind of opponents. Alabama, a prolific 3-point shooting team. We know Oral Roberts was. Arkansas limited Oral Roberts' percentage well below its efficiency, and three makes below its per game number. Colgate was the big 3-point shooting team. The difference between those teams and Baylor, I think, is Baylor's talent. Baylor's only lost 2 games this season. Both teams have 25 wins, but Baylor's a team that even if you run them off the 3 line, even if you have some success limiting what they like to do, their guards can get in the mid-range, can get all the way to the basket. And then defensively, Baylor reminds me a lot of Alabama. Quick hands. They force 9 steals a game. That's top 10 in the nation. Arkansas's got its hands full. This is really the first time I would say that Arkansas shouldn't go into the game as a favorite. Texas Tech, in my opinion, was a toss-up. I had Arkansas. I favored Arkansas by a point going in. They ended up winning by 2. I think this one will be a game where Arkansas is going to have to play one of its best games of the season, and this will be an upset. Number 1 seed Baylor, a lot at stake. The Final Four. Arkansas would like to get to its 7th Final Four in program history and the first in 27 years.
Should be a good matchup. All right, that's going to do it for our Hog Hoops report. Kevin McPherson, thanks so much for your time as always, but we are going to be back right after the break.